Hello and welcome to another episode of the Pig City Podcast. I am your host, Zachary Avi, one of your hosts, and beside me is my other wonderful, wonderful host. And even though it's fall, it's still sunny outside for him in his room with his shirt cut off, whatever it is. Bad intro there, but the point is, it's West Week. Is it the best week? We'll find out in this episode. Introduce yourself. Tell us what we're here today to discuss, Alexander.
I'm your other co-host, Alexander Walker. I do not speak as fast as he did during that intro. That was insane. Like, holy crap. I'm sure y'all are at home like, whoa, he got this thing in like super fast mode. That's kind of what I was thinking. And maybe he's just that excited because this is an exciting week. If you watched our AFC West, you saw how excited we were for that. The NFC West, to me, I'm just as excited for. It's, to me, more tight between the four. So we got four tight teams. But I feel like this division's always that way.
And if you haven't watched our AFC West, please go like it. If you have, thank you. Go like it, comment, tell us your order. The simplest comment you can do, just list your teams in order. Don't wait till halfway through the season. Don't wait till the end of the season to come and tell us how wrong we were. We are not going to be perfect on this, or else we would be rich beyond all comparison. But what we are going to do is have a great time talking about getting excited. And while I agree with you, Alexander, that these teams are closer, I don't know if I'm as excited as about the AFC West. So if you didn't watch it, understand how excited I was about the AFC West, go watch. It was a lot of actual football talk there, where today I think I'm going to be more concerned about the players.
Yeah, I think the other one's going to be more, it's the top three are, to me, better than any of these four. But these four are just so tightly packed. Like, I feel like we get halfway through the season and we are highly likely to not know who's going to win this division yet. There's not going to be a clear front runner.
I will say this. As we go through this and talk about it, there is a chance, just like in our very first episode, again, subtle plug, go watch, I could change my mind during this episode on the way I switch around a couple of these teams. So I am excited about that. But Alexander, a little longer of an intro there. Let's make this part a little quicker. How you doing? How you feeling? I know it's still West Week, best week. But how are you?
Dude, I'm feeling great. Weather's been great besides, those evening thunderstorms, But hey, it's good for the grass. Means I ain't got to put out the sprinkler and water the yard from the heat. But I love it.
Yeah, man. I'm the only negative of football season is it's about to get real cold, and I do not like that. But I'll focus on the positives. Finger, all the way healed. So we're good. We're good in that regard. So that'll be the last finger update we have from myself. But Alexander, as always, we go from worst to first. And surprisingly, the worst team in this division last year was a team that, while I didn't have finishing last, I did not pick to win the division. And I'm glad they didn't. I have a little animosity towards them. And that's the San Francisco 49ers. Break down this team for me, Walker.
First, we'll list the division in case you don't know who's all in this division in the NFC West. But it's the San Francisco 49ers who finished 6-11 last year. I know that surprised every one of y'all because it did me too. And then we have the Arizona Cardinals who finished 8-9, an impressive 8 to me. Then you had the Seattle Seahawks who finished 10-7. To me, that was impressive. And then you had the Los Angeles Rams who finished 10-7. Little underwhelming, some might would say. Maybe it was right where they should have been. I don't know. But this year, we're going to dive in to the changes, and we're going to start off with the San Francisco 49ers, where we have Brock Purdy, of course, at quarterback. He's going as QB 10. I don't know. Sorry.
You're allergic to Brock Purdy. Got it.
Oh, I don't know if fantasy-wise, I think he's a top 10 quarterback, and that's where he's going. In real life, is he a top 10 quarterback? Yeah, I think I'd put him comfortably at 10. But his receivers, they didn't really help him out. I mean, Jawan Jennings, yes, he was great at times last year in fantasy, but he's not a guy I want to rely on every week. I mean, then you have Ricky Pershall, who last year they were hyping him up, but then he just couldn't see the field due to like injuries here and there and stuff. But
I thought there was a shot he would be good. Sorry, go ahead.
But hopefully this year, we actually get to see what they believed in him to be, and it comes to fruition for him. And then, of course, you have Brandon Ayuk, who to me is their best receiver, but he's coming back from injury. How's that going to affect him? Can he get back to that level he was 2 years ago? We'll have to wait and see. But I mean, if you think he can, he's going late in drafts. I mean, you're probably not going to roll him out for the first couple of weeks, but if you have other receivers on your team that you like, and then you can get him late just to stash for when he comes back and expect him to ball out, that's a great stash play for late in the season to make that championship run.
Real quick, I'm going to interject. The latest reports are saying that they're fearing he's going to have to start on the PUP list, so he's going to at least be out for the first month plus. But by the time you're drafting, after you listen to this, because this is middle of August when you're hearing this, drafts probably 50% before and after where this episode specifically is coming out. If he's already on the PUP list and your team has an IR spot, he's a guy that you could do exactly what you said. Draft him after the draft, go ahead and move him, and then it's like you get a great free agent move later on.
Yeah, exactly. And then, to me, the one I'm most excited for, fantasy-wise, on the 49ers, is Christian McCaffrey. He's going later than he has in how many years? So you possibly could get him later, and if he can stay healthy, we have seen what he can do. And he's going to be the focal point of this offense.
Well, there's no
ifs
later,
or ands about it. Later than he has been able to be gotten. It ain't that much later, but it is
he's
later.
Still the first running back you're taking, and that's a risk. We'll get into that, but that is a risk to take a guy as your first running back.
Is he? I mean, you might be able to get him as your second if you went running back and then got him in this early second round.
If you get Christian McCaffrey as your second running back, send me a screenshot of your draft. I want to know who you're drafting with and take their money also. I mean, come on, man. Don't lie to the people.
I'm not lying. It's possible. Highly possible. Okay. But then at tight end, I mean, they have George Kittle, who he is what he is. Last year, he got to be who he was a couple years prior to Christian McCaffrey. He got to be the fantasy guy, the guy that was a focal point in the offense. But we've seen when Christian McCaffrey came in and was doing Christian McCaffrey things, Kittle kind of he was being a team guy. He's like, I'm fine getting out here just leading blocks and doing what I can to help this team win. So it depends how you view that. He's a risk to me to take as my first tight end. So to me, I will not be targeting Kittle at all in any drafts.
Okay.
And then other than that, I mean, just the team in general, I think they're going to be way better than they were last year. And they're going to contend for this division. And then their over-under is set at 10.5. I think they're a 10-11 win team. I'll actually say I think this division is just going to beat up on each other.
All right. So let me give my little 49ers thing here. This team last year was beaten. They were battered. They were bruised. Legitimately, as much as a team could have injury excuses, that was this team last year. I'm not sure offensive line how they're going to completely patch it together. And basically, if you take the over on this, essentially to me, you're betting on health. And that's really what it is. While McCaffrey's the biggest one in this, they had defenders going out. They had receivers going out. They had offensive linemen out for a while. I am all in on Kittle. I think he realizes he needs to really cash in this year as far as being productive in the passing game as well. A guy like Kittle is not okay with how last year went. Now, I'll make my jokes, and trust me, I'll continue to do it forever on, well, we would have won if. They're the greatest we would have won if team I've ever seen in my life. They did lose in overtime in the Super Bowl, right? That was the only Super Bowl I never really paid attention to because I was very angry. But, when Brock Purdy goes out and we dominate them because they didn't know how to block, not because we did anything dirty. They just continuously have had injury problems. And I'm starting to wonder, this is kind of a conspiracy thing, so I'll say it really fast, even though I already talked really fast this episode. The blocking schemes they use are so unique and great and beautiful, and when they work, they're awesome. But when every single running back's getting injured and you have players all over the place getting injured, is it bad luck or is there something to it, the way they're conditioning and whatever? But the good part of last year is they had plenty of time to rest and get right. And this may shock you. I'm actually choosing to believe they will. I'm choosing to believe they're going to come into the year healthy. As much as I don't think they're a contender as far as a Super Bowl contender, I just still think that they have too good of a roster right now. And as they're falling apart, I think this is their last year because Now that they've decided to go ahead and pay Brock Purdy, they aren't going to have the funds to pay other guys. So, like, you got to do it this year. And I don't think they're going to, but I think they're going to be much better, much improved. I hate that their line's that high. I'm going to actually say this is the first year I might end up with McCaffrey in a league, only if I end up getting him later than projected. People pass on him, and I just have great value. I'm not going to draft him as my first running back. I'm not going to draft him before I have a top receiver or running back. 2-quarterback league, if I take a quarterback first and he's my first running back, that's possible, but that's just a lottery I don't feel like even trying to win. So, but I do think his upside is obviously like league winning and game changing. It's just hard for me to think like he's suddenly going to be healthy again after so much of his career has been spent on the sidelines. You know, he actually came back last year and then instantly was hurt again. So it just scares me so much. But I'll throw it back to you for the over and under. I'm fine with Brock Purdy as well. I wouldn't mind him being my first quarterback at all. So I guess we're a little different in that regard. But
all right, over under. I thought about it, thought about their schedule. They finished last. So that means when they're not playing another division and they're just playing one team from another division, they're playing their worst from last year. And this team, I feel like, will beat every division's worst from last year. So I'm going the over 10.5.
Yeah, I mean, with a new schedule, obviously you don't play as many bad teams because how teams fall apart. But I'm also going to go with the over. I think, and this isn't just a cop-out, this is genuine. I think if they're even remotely healthy, they win 10 games at worst, which technically is the under. I get that. But I'm just saying I'll take the over for them to win one game. Yeah, I just think this is a really solid football team, and I think they're going to be back. And, you know, in March Madness, when you have, like, there's always the 15 seed that beat, or no, what is it? The 12 seed that beats the 5, like 2 always win. In the NFL, there's always a team that goes from like 4th to 1st, or there's always a team in the top 10 draft picks that make the playoffs. I think the 49ers are just the team I'm looking at that has the best chance so far of what we looked at to go from 4th to 1st. I've not liked a single 4th place team so far. Again, we still have North and East coming up next 2 weeks. Make sure you're subscribed. But I like this team a lot, and I agree with you. They'll be one of the top 2 teams in this division. I'm not sure if they're going to win it or not, but I'll take the over.
Next up, we have the Arizona Cardinals, who last year finished 8-9. Offensive side, I don't feel like they got a lot of key players. They focus more on their defense, which they had the weakest defense in this division. You got to improve that. As I said, this is such a tight division. Defense is going to be key. And we've watched this division in years past where we've got to see that defense is key. They've had literally games where it feels like all they're doing is just kicking field goals all game because they just can't score on each other.
Literally like 9-6 games.
Yeah, that's just how this division always has been, and it still is. Or at least it will, I think, go back to that this year. So offensive side, I mean, they got Kyler. Kyler's going 9th QB, so he's going right with Brock Purdy. I would take Kyler any day over Brock Purdy fantasy-wise. I love, actually, Kyler, where he's going. Wide receiver-wise, you got Michael Wilson, and then you have Marvin Harrison Jr. Last year was not in on Marvin Harrison Jr. This year, though, I think he's going to be closer to what everybody expected him to be. I still think everybody putting too high of expectations on him this early in his career. And then running back wise, I mean, you got James Conner, Trey Benson. James Conner is what he is. He isn't going to win you your leagues, but he ain't going to lose you your leagues either. He's going to be that reliable, steady guy that you can trust playing as a wide receiver too, or if you're in leagues with where you're playing 2 running backs and a flex, and he's one of them you get to roll out. I like that. He's steady points that your team's you count on being there every week for your guy. But if I was to take a tight end, as much as I don't like taking tight ends early, it'd be Trey McBride. I still probably wouldn't because I like a lot of other tight ends that are going way later in drafts. But Trey McBride is a stud, and I love him on this team. And other than that, I mean, their over-under is 9.5. I think I'm going the under for them on that.
Okay. All right. Let me start with the positives. Kyler Murray, love him. Specifically fantasy, I love him. I think he's a good NFL quarterback, and he's great for fantasy because he's mobile. He can run. He gets out. He escapes. He makes miracle plays. I like him a lot this year. I probably have him as a top 5 fantasy quarterback for me personally. So the fact that you can get him a little bit later is great. But as far as their offense as a whole, I still believe in Marvin Harrison. I think when you're that talented, it's going to come out. Their offense was just off last year. James Conner finally healthy. I had Trey Benson, and I'm pretty sure 7 of the leagues I was in, and basically wasted a spot all year because I refused to drop him but like James Conner never once has had a healthy season, and he's coming off of the only year he ever had a healthy season. So I'm talking myself into, I'm not currently drafted much yet. I'm talking myself into having a lot of Trey Benson again, especially you're basically getting him almost the same value as anybody around him. I like him, and North Week's next week, but also really like the power of the pause is awesome. Sorry, that just nobody will ever know. But I just I like him as much as I do Vikings backup running back. I can't think of his name right now. You'll think of it here in a second. But I like every single level of position group of this team. I like their quarterback. I like their top receiver. I like their backup running back. I love their tight end. Their defense is one of the more improved position units. Not only do they draft well, they also signed Josh Sweat, who, again, if Jalen Hurts didn't have some amazing passes and use his legs, Josh Sweat probably was second in Super Bowl MVP votes for how he dominated early on. He's very good. Jonathan Gannon getting him back, going to be excited. It's weird that I can like so much about their team, but just have this like thing in my mind. I don't know if it's like Miami Dolphins-esque of like they kind of seem soft at times, even though they're not. I don't know how to explain it. It's just I like all the pieces. I just need to see it together. I do like the Cardinals this year. Was it 9.5 or 10.5?
9.5 for Cardinals.
I'll go over. I like that.
Okay.
I say we need 10 games.
Okay. Next up, we have the Seattle Seahawks. They finished 10-7 last year. To me, that's kind of impressive. I didn't feel like they were a 10-7 team, and they lost a lot of stuff. So to me, where you think of this team, who do you believe in more? Sam Darnold, Geno Smith? Or do you think it's Sam Darnold's kind of like a bridge for Jalen Milroe, who I don't know how people feel about him. I thought prior to last year, I thought he was going to be very good. He didn't really perform. Wide receiver wise, I mean, they lost Tyler Lockett, who, I mean, he is who he is, but he was a steady, reliable guy there. They lost DK Metcalf, who he's amazing as much of a diva that he can be at times. He was amazing. But we got to see last year towards the end and kind of towards the middle part when Metcalf got hurt, JSN came on and he made them believe that it was okay to go that route and go all in on him. He finally started to perform and be that guy that he was when he was at the Ohio State. And then they add in a vet and Cooper Kupp who gets to play in his home state. Like, how much is that going to mean to him? I mean, we've seen when Cooper Kupp is healthy, he's elite. He just lately can't stay healthy. So how big of a scare is that? But I mean, with JSN, he's going wide receiver 13. So wide receiver 2 range. I mean, if he was my wide receiver 2, being the lead guy there, I think I kind of like that. I mean, then you could get Cooper Kupp, who's going wide receiver 44, end of the 8th round, possibly 9th round and some. I mean, if you believe in the possibility of his upside, I mean, we saw last year before he got hurt, he was balling. But how much does that have to do with his connection that he had with Stafford? Is he going to be able to build that with Sam Darnold? If you think he can, that's still that late. But it's also a risk. But that's the reason he's going that low, is because there's a risk of injury. And then we get to the running backs. And, I mean, you got Kenneth Walker still and Charbonnet. And Charbonnet, he keeps getting talked about how he can be the guy. But then last year when Walker got hurt, yeah, he was all right. But he wasn't, to me, amazing. And then this is Walker's, I'm pretty sure it's his, last year of his contract. So he's going to be out there trying to prove stuff. And with that, he stays healthy. I'm expecting a career year for Kenneth Walker. So you're telling me I can get him at wide receiver 15, middle of the 4th round? Sign me up all day. Love me some Kenneth Walker. But if I get Kenneth Walker, hey, Charbonnet falls. I might be a late guy. I just stashed just for safety. And then their tight ends, Noah Fant. I mean, I've never kind of got in on that Noah Fant hype. He's just never really lived up to it. He keeps being given chances and just can't ever live up to it. But I mean, this team though, the reason they went 10-7, I don't feel like people talk about it enough. Their defense was really good last year, and I think it got better. So I expect this team to be similar to the team they were last year. By saying that, I don't feel like they were a 10-7 team last year either, though. So with their line being 8.5, I feel like that's about right. I'm gonna take the under.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So the Seahawks have, just follow me for a second. The Seahawks have different color jerseys. They have like just the
Love
dark
their
blue.
jerseys, by the way. Love their jerseys. Probably one of my favorite like jerseys, like options, especially that neon green. Gosh, I love that.
You ever have a point and somebody just takes it right out from you? But no, I don't like their jerseys for the most part. So they have like the dark blue, like the navy blue. Then they have the like gray that they used to wear, which I was really a fan of. Then they have the neon green, which is polarizing, but some are more fond of than not. When I look at the Seahawks team, even though those jerseys are all the same team, the way I think about them and feel about them, it changes so much. Sometimes I think of them in this bright green, like, oh, they're going to be electric. And then other times I'm like, oh, I like that gray. That's pretty nice. I see what they're doing. But right now, in this moment recording this, I see them in that navy blue, just boring, like, why do we have a little neon accent? For what reason? What are we doing here? And that's how I feel about them. Now, as far as the quarterback goes, you get a guy who just is coming from a team who knows how to play with his defense being led, with wanting to get the running backs involved with the run and pass game. Mike McDonald, head coach, I really, really like him. I think he's going to be a very good head coach for a while. I like the vision of their team. I like that you have Sam Darnold. I don't know that Jalen Milroe takes over for him, but certainly somebody is in a few years. But either way, I think right now they think they're going to be competitive enough to keep things going and build it. JSN, I have personal animosity towards. He literally basically ended my hope in my most like cared about season. Long story short, Rams player drops the ball, the game would have been over. But then not only does he score then, he then gets a huge touchdown in overtime. And so as much as that like should show me like he's a dynamic player that he could score that many points that fast, I won't be drafting him because I have personal bias against people that hurt me. So yeah, so take that, JSN. I won't draft you. I like Charbonnet a lot. He's not the same like as Trey Benson for me because I think he actually is going to be involved throughout. I think McDonald's going to want to get the ball in his hands more. He's going to catch the ball even more this season. He's not like the name I was trying to think of earlier. I did have to look it up, I'll be honest. As soon as I looked it up, I remembered. Funny how that works. Jordan Mason. I don't view him that way, where Jordan Mason is going to be part as well. And then if he becomes the lead back, I absolutely love him. He's probably my favorite backup to draft this year. I just think Charbonnet is like a draftable player to put as your RB2 flex. I like that a lot. I don't really care about any of their other receivers. Cooper Kupp, the Triple Crown year he had, you know, could have been MVP, was absolutely incredible. Could have been MVP. MVP, Cooper Kupp, I'll say it. Who cares? But I don't know, man. That dark blue jersey feeling is how I feel right now, and it's good. They're not the worst jerseys in the league, but like I feel like they could be a gray team or they could be a bright green, but they're not. And I honestly, coming into this, I thought I had them winning more than the Cardinals, but I guess they still could win more with the over. But I'm going to go with the under. I'm going to go with the under as well. And that's not just following you. It's just realistically, how much juice are they really like getting for the squeeze? Because I think my fear maybe I may be too high on the Cardinals, and that's clouding my view of the Seahawks.
My like opinion on the Seahawks is I could see them winning 7. I could see them winning 8. I could see them winning 9. Could I see them winning 10? I don't think so. So that's where, like, for me, I feel like I see them being under 8.5 more than over.
Yeah.
Like, I think they're an 8-win team.
I actually weirdly understand what you're saying.
Like, I don't dislike their team, but I don't love their team either. Like they're to me like mid, which is a 500 type team.
Also, again, gonna plug a past video again. Sorry, like, subscribe, go watch it. My quarterback tiers video, I did not have Brock Purdy in my top 10. I think I had him 11th or 12th. But either way, I have a top 12, so he's in that range. But I bring that up to say Sam Darnold, who I've been a long time fan of, I'm not just gonna like forget that he wasn't always like performing that well. And when he faced good defenses, aka the Lions, which is basically the only team they lost to, he looked like, I wouldn't say the Sam Darnold of old, but he didn't look like the guy who, and JSN might be good, but he's not Justin Jefferson. And I know the NFC North was tough, but these are some really good defenses. And we're about to talk about a team in the Rams who draft as well as anybody. They've got some guys probably coming we don't even know about they're going to dominate. And so I don't see this team like making a big jump up, but I still see them progressing and being developmentally better, even though the wins may not reflect that. And I know that's kind of a lame answer, but you know what I mean, where it's like, I think we're a better team, even though, because like, I don't think they were a good team last year. They tried to lose games and somehow won. Yeah, so I wanted to make that clear. Or I think I weirdly like I'm buying Mike Macdonald stock, but I'm not in this year. Sorry, Sam Darnold. I don't know if I ever said anything bad about you ever.
I mean, you can't really say anything about him besides maybe he sees ghosts.
I mean, that's just like that. Actually, if we're talking about like rants one day, like that's one of those that I could go on for like 10 minutes on how it's absolutely so ridiculous that like that's a thing that's said and everything, and it's so unfair to him, and it just yeah. I really love Sam Darnold, don't I? It might be a bad condition. I think I got mono from him. See, that one doesn't bother me. So, anyways, we've agreed on, I think, all but one over-under in every division so far, and this is our fourth division, so that kind of makes me mad. But will we agree on this one? Hit it.
You want me to take it first, or do you?
I'll go if you want me to.
I'll let you go. I feel like you love this Rams team, and I don't want to take away some of your points you want to say.
I'm just trying not to talk so fast. All right. The Los Angeles Rams. Here we go. At quarterback, Matthew Stafford. Again, I think he is not elite currently, but he's one of the all-time just ball spinners, just great throwing. You know, I'm not going to keep plugging old videos, but I talk a little bit about Stafford in the quarterback breakdown more, so you can go there for that. But he's a guy I've always loved, always been fond of, except for when he threw that pass to Puka on the sideline last year. Besides the fact that I was literally about to break down crying, I hated the fact that Matthew Stafford existed because there was no way we were going to lose. We didn't. Shout out Jalen Carter. But with that being said, I still have respect for Stafford. And a point that I'm going to continue to make every time I bring up the Rams is their receivers, they have Puka, and they go and add Davante Adams. And I bring up this point because if Sean McVay didn't think that Stafford still had enough in him to win, he's not advocating to go sign Davante Adams. Okay, they released Cooper Kupp. He said it was a really, really hard personal thing because they're close. Especially, you know, Kupp ends up in the division, gets to go home. So I like that for him. But Davante Adams is still good. I know everybody hates him now because he's friends with Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers is weird and independent thinker. I get it. But he's still very good at football. And he is not even the number one receiver on this team. Davante Adams not being your number one receiver, like, this isn't not number one because of Garrett Wilson. I'm sorry, no disrespect to Garrett Wilson. I have Puka in a different world than Garrett Wilson, just as far as for this offense and how they play. I don't know if Garrett Wilson even is the number one. But whenever they were on that Jets team, it was hard to evaluate anything. I still believe in Adams. I still believe he wants to win. Sean McVay, while very soft about the tush push, I'm trying not to hold that against him too much. He is like just a brilliant mind of offense. And the way he coaches, the way he leads, the way they draft. Kyron Williams at running back, absolute touchdown machine. Blake Corum, I invested in a little bit last year, didn't really get run. I'm curious what they do with him. They do have Hunter, they added as well. Tight ends, it's anybody. Higbee, Ferguson. I know you're pretty high on Terrence just because he can be electric, but it doesn't matter. It's not that I don't believe in him. It just doesn't matter. You have Matthew Stafford, you have Puka, you have Davante Adams, you have Kyron Williams. That four is as competitive as any quarterback, two receivers, running back that I can think of in the league right now. I'm not saying it's the best, but just it's reflected in fantasy. Stafford's QB2, Puka's going as a number one receiver, fourth receiver overall. You're going to have to draft him early. Devontae Adams is going as a wide receiver 2, really a middle tier 2. So, like, he's upper echelon as well. I don't know if there's 16 receivers better than him, but fantasy-wise, I get it. I like everything about this Rams team. I like that they have young players, Verse, Fisk, the way they play, incredible. I just love the way this Rams team was able to trade away their picks to get Stafford, win a Super Bowl, and then I want to say last year, maybe 2 years ago, collectively we all thought it was worth it because they won the Super Bowl, but like now we're going to see the unfortunate part of going all in because you got to rebuild. They were the only team that competed with the Eagles in the postseason last year at all. So the point is they get into the playoffs, they can beat anybody. They don't have to win their division to be dangerous. And I think their over-under sitting 10.5 is a really good line. I think I just love the West, or maybe I'm in a good mood because I'm just picturing the Rams and Stafford. They're not a team that is going to necessarily go on a big run in the regular season because they're okay figuring it out. They know they can fight back. Their record at 10 wins last year, that's because they struggled for a lot of the beginning of the year. People were already saying they were done. The year before, they thought they were completely cooked. They go on a winning streak. I just think this team figures it out. They're too smart. They're too experienced. They're too good. I love the Devontae Adams signing. Might not draft him as much in fantasy, but give me all the Puka stock. Give me Kyron. I'll take Ferguson as a tight end, late flyer. I like that as well. I love this Rams team. 10.5. I'm taking the over without really thinking, like, is it the over or not? Just because I think they're going to be one of the best teams in the NFC this year because I just trust them. And until they, like, fall apart, if Stafford's out there, I'm betting on him. I love Stafford. I wonder how much longer he has left because the current conversation being had about Matt Stafford is if he's already a Hall of Famer. I think that's the wrong conversation. It's what does he still need to do to show us he should be a Hall of Famer. But besides all that, I'm taking the over. I'll do my predictions after that. So you go ahead, run away with the Rams. I know you like certain things, and you're not near as high on some of the guys I am, but what do you like? What do you dislike? Who do you want from this team?
I mean, just before I even dive into, like, fantasy-wise, their defense, it's on the up, and it's a great defense. And I think we got to see that last year, especially towards the end of the season. They had guys like Burse. They had, I can't remember the other guy's name, but there's someone on the other side that was coming on.
2 rookies.
And yeah, like that's just, they're only going to get better. And then when I dive in, I mean, tight end, I think Ferguson could be huge for them. We saw when Higbee was healthy what he could do for Matthew Stafford in that offense. And that was even when Kupp was going the F off. You had Higbee still doing stuff. So then you add Ferguson, who can move around 1,000 times better than Higbee ever could. Like, that's amazing for them. He's going tight end 23. Is he going to be someone I get just as my one tight end? No. But is he someone with a late pick and really like my roster I might get just have tight end up? Yeah. Is it someone that if I'm streaming tight ends that I possibly could start streaming about middle part of the season towards the end? For sure. Then you go to running back, and I love me some Kyron Williams. Love him. He's just a dog, and he, to me, is my favorite thing about this Rams team. And the fact that just if you're looking at it from a fantasy perspective, he's still going as an RB11. Like, yes, last year you could maybe try to argue a lot of his stuff was boosted because of his touchdowns. But even saying that, he just still kept doing it. Towards the end of the season, everybody was just expecting them to go to him in those situations, and he still kept doing it.
Yeah, I do think Devontae Adams adds an element of red zone targets, but I don't think it's a negative when a running back scores a bunch of touchdowns. That's a weird thing in the fantasy community lately where it's like, well, yeah, but look at how many yeah, that means Sean McVay thinks, hey, what's the most likely way for us to put this ball across the end zone is to hand it to this guy. That's not just going to stop. So, like, I think that's actually a reason to want Kyron.
And, like, going into last year, like, a lot of people thought maybe some of those goal line looks wouldn't be his. They would be Blake Corum's. But they were his. And there was times last year when they were dealing with injuries and stuff, and they'd get down there on like the 3, and literally they would let him run it all 4 downs. Like, that's how much they believe in him. And then when you go to the receivers, like, I love that Devontae Adams signing. I think he's going to be amazing for them. I like him better than I like Puka on this team. That's not a knock on Puka. I think Puka's an amazing wide receiver. But when we're talking fantasy,
you didn't say
I would much rather have Devontae Adams than Puka, because Puka going at wide receiver 4, if I'm looking at a wide receiver in that range, to me, I don't think I go Puka. But I think that's just because of how much I believe in what Devontae Adams can do.
I want to make it very clear. I have no problem taking Puka there. I think he's as trustworthy. He's not, receiver tier. Watch that video as well. But just kidding. I don't know if that's actually a video or not. But he's not like the elite of the elite, but he's right there. I'm starting him every week and not even questioning him.
And then like Matthew Stafford, fantasy-wise, probably not someone I'm just targeting. But I mean, if I'm in like a super flex league, maybe. Like, I want it to fill out the other parts of my team. He could be a reliable piece that I could throw out there. And then I would expect his touchdown numbers to go up this year, because I do think Devontae Adams is going to be huge for them in the red zone. And like I said, they added Ferguson. That's an element that's going to be out there for them in the red zone. And then, I mean, they have Higbee coming back. I mean, if they want to run 2 tight end sets, Higbee's a reliable guy. He's just slow. But in the red zone, all you got to do is just create some separation. I trust that he can come down with it. So I expect Stafford's like touchdown numbers to go up this year, but it's still just not a fantasy quarterback that I'm just like going out of my way to get.
Yeah,
but
for the same reasons
I think he's an amazing quarterback.
Yeah, for the same reasons you like Kyron getting into the end zone, that means Stafford isn't as much. But let me ask you this. If you don't get Kyron, do you have any interest in taking one of those other running backs?
No.
So if you take Kyron, do you have any interest in getting Blake Corum? I know you flirted with that a little last year.
No, not really. Because I felt like there was times last year, when Kyron got hurt and stuff, they had the opportunity to let Blake Corum unleash him, and they just didn't. And to me, that's like shows they didn't fully trust him.
I agree that
I don't see that trust going up that much in a year.
I do. And maybe I'm just being positive, but I think we've gotten so accustomed to, especially at the running back position, of rookies being great. There's a lot of players who just aren't fully ready to be a great NFL player their first year. And Sean McVay, he's not like, you see, they're not scared to play rookies. So like, if it's they just feel like they already missed and his career's done, I just don't believe that. I think he's talented. Not as good as Kyron, but yeah, I actually like getting Blake Corum as well. Just little fantasy philosophy here for everybody. I've mentioned Trey Benson. I've mentioned, a couple other backup running backs we just talked about with the team right before this as well. I'm not getting multiple of these. Just on a team, if I'm getting a backup running back, these are guys I'd be okay with. So I'm not going to have a bench of all backups, but just if, so trust me, been there a little bit with Corum and Benson on one team together last year. But I just want to make that clear for the fantasy people. But yeah, I like this Rams team a lot. But Alexander, unless you have any other final thoughts, I think you got to tell me if you got these guys over or under. Because I see you're stalling, you're making a little speech, and you're just, trying to keep it going. And
this one's tough. This is a tough. I feel like the line is perfect.
I mean, yeah, we say that for a lot of teams because
I feel like they're an 11-win team. But because I feel like they're an 11-win team, I'm taking the over.
So, Alexander, what's your official predictions for this division?
All right, my predictions for the NFC West in 2025 are as follows. I have in 4th place the Arizona Cardinals. In 3rd place, I have the Seattle Seahawks. In 2nd place, I have the Los Angeles Rams. And in 1st place, I have the San Francisco 49ers in a bounce back year.
Wow. Okay. How many of those you think we have different?
All of them.
Okay. My official predictions for the 2025, whatever. All right, here's my predictions for the NFC West in 2025. 4th place, Seattle Seahawks. 3rd place, Los Angeles Rams. 2nd place, Arizona Cardinals. And first place, the San Francisco 49ers.
Holy crap. I did not see that coming. Wow. Did you go the over on the Arizona Cardinals?
I went over on all three. We're back to me and you having the same over and unders now.
And you went under on the Seahawks.
Yeah. So we've won over half the teams. We've won over half the teams.
Wait, so you're telling me they're going to have 3 11-win teams?
The West is the best, baby. What can I say?
Holy crap. Well, y'all heard it first here. That blew my mind. Sure, I'm not the only one out there. That mind just got blown by that.
Can I give a little behind the curtain really quickly?
Yes, give your final thoughts. Like, we got to hear it. We want to understand.
So the 49ers, I have winning the division just because if I'm believing in health, they're the best team overall as far as just like being able to show up every single week and beat the team they're playing, if that makes sense. The Rams, I'm struggling with their win total because literally the same as last year. They won 10 games last year, right? So, like, that's the under, and that won their division. The behind the curtains is we have a future episode coming up where we're looking at all the teams we took the over on and deciding if they made the playoffs or not. So, like, if I went under, I'm saying they're not even making the playoffs when I really think they could be under and make the playoffs. But that's a really, really thin, like, line to kind of navigate. Like, it was really difficult for me, but the problem is now if I have them in the playoffs, I have to have the Cardinals in the playoffs because I have them over them. I don't know. I'm reeling a little bit right now. Give me a chance. Give me a chance to redo my picks, please.
No.
Just do it. Just trust me.
Should we? Should we, guys? All right. Fans want you to redo it. They want you to have a second chance.
All right. In fourth place in the NFC West, I have the Seattle Seahawks. In third place, I have the Los Angeles Rams. In second place, I have the Arizona Cardinals. And in first place, the San Francisco 49ers. I ain't changing my mind, baby. We double down. Let's go. Now, over, under. Sticking with the same. West is the best. You should like that. That's where you want me to go to.
We gave him the chance. We gave him the chance, people. He is sticking with his gut. You got to respect it. Now, is his gut possibly wrong? Time will tell.
Definitely wrong. I mean, dude, this is...
I will say this. I was in between the Cardinals and Seahawks for third and fourth. For first and second, to me, I wasn't considering the other two as much as I say this division is tight and close. It was in between the 49ers and Rams. Well, and me personally, I believe in this Rams team more than any of the other, but I think the 49ers have a more favorable schedule, so that's going to help them win the division. That's my background thoughts on why I did what I did.
That's fair. I guess my only thing where I'm... First off, I want to take the over on teams because I'm happy and hopeful for football, and I'm optimistic. So, I am struggling with wanting to take the over on every team. I mean, we got to the Raiders, and I'm like, no. So, I just... In general, that's where I'm leaning always. I'm 60% over whenever I go into something. So I'm trying to fight against that. But I really like what this Cardinals team did. I really like that their defense is better. But honestly, what it comes down to is just I think the Rams have a better chance of winning the division than the Cardinals, if that makes any sense. But I also feel like the 49ers or Rams won, I think are going to are more volatile than the Cardinals, which sounds crazy to say because the Cardinals are the more up and down team. So that's why I feel like I'm insane. I'm literally saying I trust the Cardinals to be 9 to 11 wins more than I do the Rams and the 49ers together. So if one of them fall off, I had to go Cardinals number 2. I think Rams and 49ers have a better chance of flipping than they do finishing 1 and 2. I don't think they're both going to finish at the top. And that is what you call off-season getting into the weeds, looking at every single matchup, and realizing in week 5 when the Cardinals win on the last second field goal, that's why they got the advantage over the Rams, and I was right. Was this the worst division pick so far? Leave a comment. Let us know. We know this one went a little bit longer, but we really appreciate you. West is the best. Alexander, as always, I'm going to give you the last 20 to 30 seconds here. Final thoughts. What stuck out to you? Maybe a player, maybe something that happened during the pod, and then take us out of here.
What stuck to me? What stuck to me was you and your freaking division predictions. That just blew my mind. I'm over here reeling still. That's just there's nothing I can say. We're just going to end on that. That's just amazing. So with that, as always, Piglets were hogging off.